There's an experiment that's been done with particles like photons or even electrons that's so insane you won't believe it. So there's this quantum mechanical property called spin, and it's a type of angular momentum. The classical version of it is the spinning of the Earth, because the Earth has angular momentum in terms of its orbit around the sun. That's orbital angular momentum, but it also has spin angular momentum. Well, in quantum mechanics, there's an analogous property, but it's different than in classical physics. You see, with this spin, it's like it always has a value, and it's either spin up or spin down when it interacts with a magnet, but nothing in between. It's completely different than classical physics where you have a continuum of values. It's either up or down, and this was demonstrated with an experiment called the Stern-Gerlach experiment. Okay, so let's say that we have two particles, like two photons, that have one is spin up and the other is spin down, but we don't know which one is spin up and which one is spin down. We can't treat it like as if the system, one of the particles has spin up and the other one has spin down the whole time. We have to treat it as a superposition where the particle doesn't have a specific value of spin until we measure it. That's right. It doesn't matter how far these particles travel away from each other. If they're in an entangled state, they do not have the specific property of up or down until we measure it. And they can be on other sides of the universe, through a wormhole, whatever you want. It doesn't matter. Until they're measured and a value is found, their value is indeterminate. As soon as the measurement is made, the other particle immediately takes on the other value. This property of superpositions and particles suddenly getting values is what Einstein called spooky action at a distance. Because in physics, any process is supposed to have causality, and it's supposed to have a length or duration of time in which to occur. And because these spin entangled systems collapsed and there was no duration of time, he said that couldn't be possible. That's spooky action at a distance. But it was later demonstrated in experiments to be the case after he had died. As recently as the 1980s, and even more recent than that, these spin experiments with collapsing wave functions and the particles being known happened.